Scott taking on St. Cloud this week. Long time no see with Brett Wilson. Going back to the World Juniors, what was it like working with Brett again and being reunited with him?
Great. It was great. I have a ton of respect for him. I mean, he's obviously was a big part of our program and big part of our success, and he's really grown too. I think that's fun. But I know we joked over there. It's kind of nice being an assistant once in a while, like I did it the year before, and so he enjoyed that. But no, he was great to have on the staff. We had a great staff period with all the guys, and it was fun to spend some time with them.
You mentioned you've seen him grow. How has he grown as a coach in the last couple of years running the Huskies program?
Well, I mean, I think it's probably a little bit different when you're a head coach, right? I think it's but he had some experiences too. When he left here the first time as a coach and GM in Sioux City, to run your own kind of program per se, but he's a knowledgeable guy, and I think he's obviously a very personable guy, and for me, he's a guy you probably want to play for. He's more confident, in certainly everything he's doing, and that just comes as you get more experience too. And now being behind the bench as a head coach, you can see that he continues to grow. He's got a good future in the game, and whether it's still at St. Cloud or he moves on, I think he's one of those guys that has that opportunity because he's a guy that's eager to learn, and I think probably the best way, I think he communicates very well with everybody.
Did you guys talk much about between yourselves about the two programs and maybe what Brett's going through this year, trying to build St. Cloud's data up and
No,
such?
not really. We were too focused on trying to do something there with the team we had, but no. So really, we didn't talk much about either of our programs there. It's we were pretty focused on what we needed to do there.
Well, it's been a while since you started the new coaching job and building a program, bringing your own players. What are some of the challenges that you're seeing Brett have to face this year, and how do you feel he's handling them and how that team's coming along?
Well, quite honestly, I haven't really paid a ton of attention to it because I've got my own program to run. But, again, obviously last year he walked into a situation, and I've said this before, he made a good team better. Obviously, unfortunately for them, it didn't go as far as they wanted to. And this year, when you lose a lot of key players, it's probably a different starting point. And, again, he's been through a little bit of that here, and I think you got to rely on some of those experiences. It's no different than when I was with Dean at North Dakota. You go through different challenges every year with teams, whether they're older or younger. So I think those probably maybe have helped him. I certainly hope that they would. That you can kind of go back and look at maybe some of the things that when he was a part of our program that went on in those situations to help you through that stuff. But you still you got to be who you are, right? And you're going to handle those situations individually as a coach, and but knowing him, I'm sure he's doing a great job, and trying to keep the guys positive. And I think they're a good hockey team. I think they've shown signs of being really good. And they're probably at times, like we all say when we have young teams, they probably show signs of being youthful. But sometimes that's good too. But I know they'll be ready to play us. So it's a big weekend and a lot of the points on the line. And I thought they actually played pretty well against Denver. Denver's a pretty good team. So we've got our work cut out.
Hunter Shepard, 101 career consecutive starts now. He's on the verge of breaking that NCAA record. What has he shown you that says that this is a guy you can ride night in, night out, to start 101 consecutive times?
Well, I think he's shown everybody, I go back to when he wasn't playing, right? When Hunter was here. And, he kept working. It was a tough situation for him because he's never been in that situation before. But I thought, him, personally, and with Brant, I thought, he got better even in that situation. And, the next year we were looking at kind of the same thing, and until Hunter signed, and from that point on, he's, done what he's done. I mean, it took a while because I split those guys, him and Deers, in the first month, but you'll go back to that November, he's grabbed the net, and how can you argue with what he's done? I mean, he's had a tremendous career, and he's been, a rock for us, and he's been a big reason why we've had the success. So it's pretty easy to keep going with him, right? And it's different too. I mean, people make a lot of that. I mean, we're not a pro schedule. And it's weekends, and yeah, you got the practices, but it's different. It's a little bit different than playing 82 games. So, but I think it's a testament to him and his work habits and mentality. And but I think we've all seen why, just by the way he's played, and makes it pretty easy as a coach.
For Shep, the start streak that he's on, you think some of that has to do with too that I feel like he doesn't put together two bad, I don't even know if he plays bad games, but maybe mediocre games or anything in a row. He seems to bounce back really strong when he does have what he'd consider an off night, right?
Yeah, he has. No, I mean, again, he's competitive, right? I mean, there's a reason he's had success. I mean, again, it's a tough position, and goalies are goalies. Some are really goalies, if you know what I mean. But their mental makeup is different, and he's got a strong mental makeup. He's got his routine, and he goes through his things. And again, I keep going back. Brant's been a huge help for our goaltenders. Like, Brant's a great voice. He's done a great job with them. To me, I can sit here and say we recruited him, but Brant's the one that's worked with him and deserves a lot of credit for making our goalies better, and Shep's one of those guys.
Not just Shep, but going back to, you mentioned Hunter Miska, that season he was here, controlled the net for entire Kaz, we saw play a lot of games in a row. Does that give you confidence as a coach when you have a guy that you can go to night in and night out, and you're never really having to wonder, do we need to make a goalie change or anything like that? You like running
What do you
think?
Guy? What do you think?
I'm guessing you really enjoy just.
Well, yeah, I think we have three good ones. You know what? I do. We've been fortunate to have a lot of good goaltenders, and you know what? Some haven't always been like the spotlight goalies coming in. Maybe Hunter was probably that way, just coming out of the development program, and but there's guys that have been in here that maybe have flown under the radar a little bit, that have come in here and improved and gotten better just through their time here, and that's a credit to those guys. And like I said, I keep going back to Brant. I mean, since Kaz came in, Brant was our goalie coach, and Brant was with me before, but left, and then to get somebody that has played that position, that knows the mentality, that works with those guys, that can communicate with those guys in their language, is huge. And it's been a big factor why we've had, pretty good goaltending in those years. He's a big factor in that.
Saturday night, you're down 2 in the third period. You had 2 shot attempts in the first 9 minutes of the third period. How big of a spark did you guys get from that goal by Tanner Klein?
Well, it was big. I went, after I actually left the bench before they reviewed the last goal, because I wasn't very happy when they scored. I'm sure nobody else was either. But we just went in the locker room and said we can go one of 2 ways, right? Now, I didn't expect to come out and not get a shot in the first 8 or 9 minutes, but when we finally did, it was something that we talked about getting bodies there and getting pucks there, and Jade was in the right spot. We got a puck through, and Tanner was in the right spot too, just off the net. But it was a big goal. I mean, sometimes this group seems to really, when you get a timely goal, it's when maybe things are a little flat, it really picks this group up. And that was a very timely goal for us that gave us some momentum and some life. And obviously Scotty capped it off with a big goal too. But it was a good good third period in that sense, where again this group never quit, and we just needed something, and kind of reminded me of last year when whatever it was when we played Denver. We were down 3-0, and once we got a goal, we kind of got going and eventually ended up winning that game in overtime. But it was kind of similar in a way, where we were down, and certainly to give up a goal in the last minute of any period is tough. But just kind of the way that one happened, because they had puck possession for it felt like a minute, and to go in the locker room that way, it was a good challenge for our guys to see where we were at and how we'd come out, and took us a while, but we responded the right way.
And we talked before Friday's game how much you liked what you've seen with Roth and Lattery with Jake Miller. How good were they this past weekend?
I thought they were great. I thought they were one of our best lines, if not our best line. They were consistent. And again, I told Matt this. I said it's not about scoring. I mean, but you get rewarded when you play the game the right way. And those guys played the game the right way and scored some big goals. Tanner, obviously, one was a power play, but they created a lot of really good O-zone shifts. They played well defensively. They worked really hard, and they played really well together. And to me, that was huge for us. And we've liked that line since they've been put together, and hopefully they continue to grow. But that was a really good weekend for them.